Julie Pianto here with Bernard Kelly from retirelaughing.com. Bernard, this is obviously a really important question that investors should ask you, and that is, what is the best ownership structure?
Yes, it certainly is. It's one of the top 10 questions investors should ask. But of course, unless you've already got a portfolio running, you typically don't know. This is a question which you could even think to ask. But basically, to answer the question precisely, it's in the whole packaging. I mentioned before that the best location represents 40% of a successful investment strategy, and the product itself, that's that four-bedroom family home, represents 30% of the strategy, and the packaging itself is the other 30%. And inside that packaging, we could talk about the best financial loan to get, the types of insurances you need, and the best type of asset manager. But going back to the particular question, what is the best ownership structure, Julie? There's three different structures that you can own investment properties in. The first one is you could own it in your own name, and that's called sole ownership. The second way you can own property is in joint ownerships, and that's typically how a young couple buy their first family home, in 50-50, locked in forevermore in that percentage. But the third way, which is a very flexible way, you can own property in a structure called tenants in common. And the significance of that is that you can fluctuate. Any tenants in common is really, you split the percentage ownership whichever way you like. You can go from the one person can own 99% and the other person can own 1%. And actually, that is the typical way that I suggest that my private clients own properties. Whoever pays the most tax has got the chance of getting the most tax back, and therefore they should be on the title for 99%. But as I also work for both husband and wife, I'm also working for the person who's the 1% owner, who typically pays less tax. But the significance of the 1%, provided you're on the title, even at 1%, you are still in 100% control, because nothing can happen to that property unless that 1% owner does agree. But of course, if then the income flip-flops, for example, the person who's on 1%, they might have suddenly get a major promotion, and therefore you can flip-flop that ownership, and that 1% party can become the 99% party, and you get again all the maximum tax back. And the person who's originally was paying most tax is now paying less tax, and then you flip-flop them back to the 1%. So it gives you the maximum financial advantages if you do go tenants in common for the ownership structure.
That certainly sounds the most flexible way to me, and that was a great explanation. Thank you for that.